Hello.
Hello, fellow architects and faithful followers. Thank you so much for your viewership. Thank you for the two Robert Loves Games and to Wachula. Thanks for hanging out with me last night. Appreciate the follow, guys. Hopefully, you guys will tune in at some point tonight. So, we're gonna finish up Sekiro probably tonight.
What's up, Aridin?
Hello, Aridin. Aridin with
We
the
are here
subscription
early.
again. Thank you.
One away.
Oh my goodness, and tier 2 as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
One away from a whole year.
Yeah. Yes, we are here early. I think we needed just to stream early today, so we're gonna do the same time probably for streaming, depending on how long it goes. And yeah, but thank you for being here, even though we're so early. Okay, so due to the surprising effectiveness of Baku's Lotus Umbrella against the Demon of Hatred.
Yeah.
You mentioned there was a Shichiman warrior
Yeah.
to fight still.
Yeah.
I want to go fight him with this to see what happens.
Okay. Go to the Guardian Apes, not the Watering Hole, it's the other one. It'll be in Ashina Depths. Guardian Apes Burrow, you can't go there, go to the Poison Pool.
This one. Oh, we can't get up there, up to that little area from up here, right? Because it's a cliff face, right?
No.
You have to go here and then go back.
It doesn't matter which way you go.
Okay.
We're not going to the spot you're thinking that we're going.
Okay.
Or you may have the layout different in your head.
Maybe. Aaron, how you doing? How you doing this fine evening?
Yo, Aridin, I watched, now just go like you were going to, after you killed Snake Eyes, just go through the area normally.
Okay.
To where you fought Guardian 8 V2. Aridin, I watched all the CGI trailers for Star Wars The Old Republic MMO. Dude, they got some hype trailers, even though they're CGI. And then I felt extra disappointed in Jedi The Fallen Order.
Right.
In that CGI trailer after I watched those trailers. There he is. If you wanted to come up from over there, you would have gone to the other thing.
Alright, so
In forest.
work.
Well, you're still getting.
Damage, yes.
So yes, it stops the projectiles. Even the big ones. Yep.
No posture broken in the break as well. Is there?
Yep.
Yep.
Interesting. Hey man, the Old Republic MMO has a really good story. It
Holy
seems
cow.
like that does a lot of damage too. Look at the posture damage
Yeah.
too.
Holy cow, this is OP.
Wow. Makes these fights trivial. That's really cool.
That's great. Ah. Oh, I can sneak it in.
Alright, new strat for fighting this guy.
Yeah, right? I'm not even using the not even using the Betty. Pretty good.
I like to think the reason why is because the shield is absorbing his divine energy, and you're using it against him.
Yeah.
That's what I like to think.
Yep.
Just like that.
Wow. Umbrella. That's right. That's where this ring is. An old ring, well suited for slender fingers. Kingfisher is engraved on the underside. Ring this ring as you blow the finger whistle will create a somber tune. The weeping is full of solitude and beauty, possibly somber enough to temporarily quell a voice of rage. Oh, that's how you're supposed to know that. I just saw a video today of a guy using the whistle to stun
Demon of Hatred?
Demon of Hatred.
That's cool.
It works like the music
box. That's cool. So, by the way, we're both dumb.
What?
When we were like, why is the Great Carp here when it's dead?
Yeah?
That's literally where you got the flower, which Kuro tells you where the divine waters pool.
Oh.
So yeah, so the guardian, the watering hole is at the base of the waterfall. All right, travel.
Right. Also, the other bead. Ask me where the other bead was. Oh.
Oh, I know where it is. You didn't kill the second. Wait, no, yeah, you did. You killed the second. No.
Machine Elite. The guy who's the Ido.
Yeah.
Over and over again. Yeah, I don't think I killed him.
Oh, I thought you did.
Airden.
The only downside of the Old Republic story is that there are 8 different main stories, and in order to see them all, you must play every class, which means 8 different characters. That can be pretty brutal.
Airden, I read your UFF post. I think you got it pretty locked down. I especially liked the example of Dry Bones being beaten by the Superstar or the Power Star, whatever it's called. Even though it regenerates to counter T-1000's regeneration abilities. And I really liked the fact that you mentioned that Rush couldn't beat their own song on Rock Band, because it proves the point that Vader and Jake couldn't necessarily pilot spaceships the same way if they're both playing a video game. I think that you made some good points there.
Finn was in the GameCube, not Jake, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Finn. I meant Finn.
Dude. The umbrella will probably stop.
Well, again, like I feel like these have both been so useful. I wonder.
Do it. To throw it on.
Okay.
And then it's, what is it? What button is it to spin it?
It's
the bumper?
LB.
Okay, so just do that when he swipes at you.
Swipes at me? Let me try.
He's also weak to fire because he has red eyes. That was a sweep.
Oh!
Doesn't mess around, dude.
Nope. Umbrella. I only use like 4 things.
No, you use them all.
Oh,
he gives you 15.
15. Okay. What the?
I thought this game designer made hard games.
So here's the thing. Okay, here's From Software Games, right?
Go back to your item.
Here's the fire would have like done something.
No,
here.
that just is for that element. So like the magnet and the Phoenix Lilac and the Sazaka's Lotus doesn't make a difference. It's all gonna block the same amount, except this one blocks fire and the other one blocks terror.
But there's fire on it. I wonder if it would have done something.
Well, there's also blue on the... Well, unless that's why it does extra damage, because it actually does divine damage when you strike it. So, yeah, that might do fire damage when you strike with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dang! So, wow. So here's the thing. Here's From Software Games, right? Here's what I find how they work. They make the game, like, harder
Homer Idol?
at the beginning. And as you go, the game gets easier.
As you get more tools.
Yeah, but it's like they make it so that it's extremely difficult to at the outset. You know, you have very little HP and all this stuff, right? And as you play the game, you acquire more tools, and you also like it's like both you and the player character get better.
Yeah.
But,
well, you also it also stays hard if you refuse to use your tools.
Yeah, clearly.
Okay, so you don't have to rest because it does it auto.
Yeah, but
Are you wanting to travel somewhere else first?
Yeah.
Before we go to the end?
Well, I want to go to place where we were last time. Where were we? We were just beating the demon patron, right?
Yeah.
So we need to go there.
Why?
Isn't that where the next?
No, that was that was a completely optional thing.
That's an option. That's
yeah,
a dead end
we're going
that
from
way?
here. We're going from here.
Oh, okay.
You remember how to get to the 7 spears of Ashina?
7 spears.
Straight down. I think. Yeah, go down the stairs there. So just drop straight down. You'll be able to grapple onto something. Now go down again. Right where that item is. There's gonna be 2 guys fighting. Turn around. Through there. Down here.
Pretty good map of this place, huh?
Through that door. Yep.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've played through the game like 6 times. I should know it pretty well. You know, this is the first Souls game since Dark Souls 2, which I just would beat and then I'll just restart it immediately.
Really?
First game since after Bloodborne, I needed to take a break after each playthrough, and then Dark Souls 3 I only beat like 3 times.
Huh. Okay.
We will revive Ashina together with the dragon's blood.
All right,
I see 2 men.
go fight them.
Oh, what the heck?
Okay, if you want to make this fight easier, the dude with the sword, which is the dude on the left, can be stealth killed, but you need to use some stealth sugar to get to him.
Yeah, I was about to.
That's defense.
Yep.
Do you have Wind Waker HD?
Yes.
And then you basically go just like this, and then you walk in between the 2 of them. This fight is probably the hardest soldier fight if you fight both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
It's extremely difficult. So this is the same fight, except he does more damage. So you might want to just let these guys fight it out.
Yeah. So try the umbrella again.
Yeah. Who knows if it stops thrusts? This guy has both a thrust and sweep. Remember, your guy can hurt you too.
Yep.
No! Oh. Does it just reset the timer?
Yeah.
I did not know that was a thing. Does it reset his health too?
He doesn't have health.
Oh, it's just time? Oh. Oh! Oh no!
Hang on. Hang on.
It's a good way to regen some health too.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Get out of there! You gotta sneak in there.
Okay.
How long does Puppeteer last? Is it a minute?
I don't know. Like,
I just
not
figured
long.
you looked it up because that's usually what you do.
No, I saw someone do it. I think it was Lobos. Watching him play up, to So watch him. Just keep him doing it. We were doing a cheese all bosses run.
And deflect.
Cheese all bosses run, so he's trying to figure out how to cheese Roboto! And yeah.
Oof. Oh, the sweeps.
And you try the
And work on sweeps. Now we know.
yeah.
Look, free cremation.
Well, that's pretty handy, I guess. If Sekiro wanted that.
I'm going to be changing my my thing on here. My
Really?
suggestion, yeah.
Okay.
Did you end up thinking of a new suggestion?
Well, sort of.
Okay.
I thought of maybe putting 12 on there, FF12, because we have done it, and I feel sort of a nice way of putting it in there as potential.
All right. I want to take a vote. Just to get everyone's kind of like what's it called? Just their thoughts on what my next suggestion should be. Whether it should be Wind Waker, A Link to the Past, the two mainline Zeldas I have not completed.
That's a good idea.
The only two I haven't beat. Oh yeah, that fire. Or Knights of the Old Republic. That's already on there, which it is. So you can't do that. So not Portal? Oh, Portal could be another one too. Yeah, sure, Portal can be on there. Portal can be the blue spot. I don't have a dry erase marker right now. I just have permanent markers. I forgot to bring my dry erase to my house. God.
Oh, shoot.
KOTOR 2, the superior game of the two? Yeah, but Knights of the Republic 1 is the only one on that's backwards compatible. But I agree with you. You could Portal 1 and 2 as one game since they're both so short. That's true. You know what, Tristan? Maybe you're the worst. He jumps! He remembered! There you go. Done. Get that max posture, boy!
Right.
Get that max posture and max HP, boy!
That's right.
Get the last lore tidbit.
All mini bosses defeated.
Boy!
All of them. Final prayer necklace. 7 spears of Ashina were pivotal in Ishin's coup. What do you mean?
Well, he had to take the land from someone. That's what that war at the beginning cutscene, that's what that war was.
Oh, it was Ishin?
Yeah,
I thought he was a friend.
taking... No, that was Ishin taking the land. I'm pretty sure.
Why are we talking to him like we were like buddies?
Because Kuro is is noble within the land of Ashina. So you and Ishin are on the same side.
Why is it coup? Like, is it not coup against me?
No. It was pivotal in his coup to take this land. It's kind of like
Okay.
implied.
Okay, so you still are on.
Yeah.
He's still on our side.
Well, I mean, he's dead, but yeah.
Yeah. He awarded this lance to none but his most loyal samurai, and now only a few of the 7 remain.
Right, because
So
even
2
though
of them.
Genichiro had corrupted the rest of the samurai and stuff, he was the Tengu, and he never tried to kill you.
Right.
Right, because he knew who you were. So, you know where to go. Yes, Tristan, the final boss is coming up. Over there.
right. As I suspected. Full circle time.
Remember that?
Ichiro.
Remember that idol that you couldn't use in the tutorial?
Oh. Yeah.
That's your idol.
Weird. What? I thought I would spend a little more time fighting the mini bosses and stuff.
Oh, and look at the prayer beads. Not even numbers anymore.
Yeah, just dashes.
Meth beats him first try, I believe. I don't think so, but I'd be pretty hype.
Whoa.
Also, I'd just go home if that happened. So I'd be like, all right, cool, guys. That was a half an hour stream. See you later.
I've been surprised so far by the tools. I want to see what
do you think it is?
Ichiro.
Okay.
His
lightning
powerful,
of Tomo?
Yeah, like way of Tomoe.
Okay. He has the broken umbrella, so I believe. I don't think the umbrella will help him here. Bro's wounded.
Oh.
Shinobi of the Divine Air, we meet again.
Oh,
Behold,
yeah,
the
Black Scroll or whatever I had.
So think about it this way. This is the only sword fight that would matter to you, because it's the only thing that can kill you.
Oh.
Pretty hype.
Yeah, that's good.
What if you only had one try?
Oh, it's stupid.
Ashina's fate was such a thing.
Where does this boss boy rank in the Soulsborne bosses in terms of difficulty? He's in the upper quarter.
No one
The
has
top
right
quarter,
to the
I
dragon's
think.
Heritage. It is no one's to bear. I wish there was another way.
He's probably like in the top 5, I would assume.
Top 5, really?
But it depends. Depends on playstyle.
Yep, his style and yeah.
My playstyle, when I first fought him, he's top 5. Now he's around the 75 mark. He's not so hard that he's not fun. Like Orphan.
Like Orphan, right.
This guy's just really fun to fight.
Yes. Let's finish this.
Finish it.
Okay, well, that of course is implying that he's gonna fight differently than he did before. But I'm gonna try. So before it was R1, R1, L1, and we'll see what happens. I'll try that and just see what happens. I'll feel it out. Let's go.
Only one phase.
Yeah, right. I don't buy that at all. It's because like the game has tricked me multiple times already about like, other phases.
Ooh.
Well, that's punishable.
He's got everything. Everything he had, plus the second Mortal Blade. Oh! I thought you would have carried that.
I jumped it. Okay.
You can punish that super hard. Did you see Strategy's video on this?
No.
On this game? I love that you jump the thrusts and dodge the sweeps.
Well, it's been confusing me, so it's got some DDR in there, so.
Hey Panda, how's it going?
Hey Panda.
Good job. That's it.
Yeah, right.
But we do go to a cutscene.
How you doing, Panda? Good to see ya.
You see a little bit of Mortal Kombat.
He didn't pull out the Mortal Blade.
That's what his big black attacks were.
No, Sekiro didn't.
It's true.
I was powerless.
Really immortal.
We're gonna see some Mortal Kombat 11 right here, by the way.
The dragon blood surging through her veins. With this, Ashina's long night comes to an end.
Again, this is the same game that had the Guardian Ape, so. Blah, monster comes out of the blood. It becomes like a blood monster. Right.
Pitiful grandchild. This was your last wish.
What? What?
To see Ashina return from the great beyond.
Like a cocoon. It was weird.
Which means Sekiro.
Stomach wound.
Destroy
It's a seppuku wound.
Count Sekiro.
Ishin, the Sword Saint.
Was Ishii inside Genichiro?
Okay, so I think.
Okay, show me what you got. Go ahead, explain.
So I'm pretty sure what's going on is Ishin died
Okay.
because of Genichiro used like a power or something, which killed Ishin. Okay, I believe that's what the sickness is.
Okay.
Was Genichiro doing something weird with the rejuvenating waters?
Okay.
Then I think what happened was he summons him from beyond the grave, and
Genichiro
Ishin,
does?
yeah, Genichiro does, and Ishin is compelled to follow Genichiro's orders, and Genichiro knows that Ishin is a better swordsman, and like Genichiro said, in the first time he fought him, he would do anything to save Ashina, including heresy.
Okay.
So I believe he corrupted Ishin. Because Ishin would have just killed you. You know what I mean? Ishin would have just fought you earlier.
Okay. So.
By the way, do you want to know who you fight if you do the bad guy ending?
Yeah. Did you fight Emma and then Ishin again?
Oh yeah, I told you already.
Told you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But is it a different Ishin?
Yep.
So the fight is different then.
Yes. It's a 2-phaser instead of a 3, and it's much different. He has about half the moves,
Right.
as he would here. Kuro!
What?
In the grass.
I didn't
Lying, wounded.
We can do things. One is to the right, and the 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. That seems pretty. Also, 3 health bars.
4 phases in this fight.
What? You have to fight Genichiro again?
Oh yeah.
It's not like a.
Nope.
I'm thinking of a boss. I'm trying to think of a boss that has that. There are some.
Mm-hmm. Out of chaos.
Chaos. This? Yeah, I need to block after that hit.
So I'm sure the umbrella just wrecks him if he perfect parry, but I really don't know. I fought him straight up.
Okay.
My strat does not involve any prosthetics or
Really?
any buffs.
Right. 1, 2, 3. Face that.
And remember, I told you I believed that this fight was going to be harder for you in the earlier phases.
Okay.
I still think that. I think it's going to get easier in the next 2.
Well, I mean, I think I found something so far. But no, I can try other strategies. I mean, this seems to be a thing. He only seems limited to. I've seen 3 abilities so far from a distance. That one.
cannot dodge out of the way of that one.
But I can also try, like I can try like a lone shadow strats, like R1, L1, R1, L1, and see if that works. I have one gourd left, so I may as well attempt it. I think. Let me just. Because of eating because being staggered and stuff. Oh, hey. Got the storm warrior, nice. Did a lot of damage.
Double Ichimonji.
Ichimonji.
Don't resurrect. Oh.
Right.
Because these are now stuff that you have to earn back. The first time I beat him, I needed all my resurrections.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Now he typically doesn't kill me. But
good.
so you can get him down to really safe attacks.
Well, I mean, that was pretty safe right there. Like if I just need to get my spacing right,
you can get him down to
Ashina
really
and
quick safe attacks. Like you can do the first two. In my strat, the first two phases are the quick ones.
Okay.
For Genichiro, I just sprint right at him because he always opens up with Immortal Blade, so you can sprint right behind him and get 3 attacks. And then sometimes he'll follow up like that, so you just do one dodge to the left, and then you can do more. But otherwise, this is the easiest phase because it's just Genichiro.
Right. Which is funny.
And he doesn't have the lightning.
He's super hard in this first phase, the first time you fight him. So it's funny that it's just Genichiro is like.
Yeah, but he's the same, so it's like he's the same boss that you would have fought halfway through the game.
Right, but it's funny is to
at halfway through the game, he was hard.
Yeah. Saints. What does that even mean?
It's a cool name.
It is a cool name.
Yeah, I run to his right. Around to his right.
Yeah, it's just what guys can do, so
actually, you know exactly what Genichiro can do, because the only new thing he does right at the beginning.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, I didn't know how much it tracked, so like I was around him,
you're
and
right.
then like,
that I'm saying is at least like, Genichiro is easy to learn because you've learned him already.
Yeah, but yeah,
that's the nice thing.
That's
why this fight was actually. This fight was actually the first 2 phases were a lot easier for me because I did the bad guy fight first, so I knew Ishin's first moveset. Yeah, he actually does less. So I had to learn about half a moveset, but for Ishin for the first phase. Good jump.
I really just a small UI thing. I really hate that the posture bars are like diamonds on the end.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it confuses
you make them think
out
that
of
it's
the corner
going to
of
be
your eye,
full.
it makes you think that he's almost good. He's almost there.
I haven't really thought about it, but yeah, I can see that. It looks nicer than rectangles, but I think rectangles would be clearer.
Yeah.
I think numbers would be the most clear. But,
Yeah.
You know.
That numbers would be good, because then you could like make a clear assessment about it's gonna do the.
It should be the diamonds, but have numbers in the middle, like black numbers.
Yeah. So let me try the R1, L1 again.
Oh! You block that, he follows up. Cool. Like, then he just walks away from you.
by the strafe strats. All the, how that goes.
He will commit to the second Ichimonji if you get away from the first one. Thanks for the bits, Tristan.
Tristan, thank you.
Little salt shaker.
And he's right there.
There you go. See, not that bad.
Right?
Sticking close to him is not that bad. 10 bits of death? Keep
What?
dying, keep dying, keep dying.
I don't want to
keep,
bankrupt.
Keep dying.
Hello, excuse me, Sword Saint. Ah! Sword Saint. Sword Saint with the
More like
non-sword.
Spear Saint.
Oh, he's got a sword and a spear now.
Yeah, and a gun.
And a gun. Isn't there a tool that like work with guns or something? Like
Yeah, loaded umbrella magnet.
okay, hang on. There. You got jump attack.
All that stuff it would
Follow.
block. There's the
More
gun.
bullets. Okay, so Ace comes after you. He jumps. He does a little dash. Okay. And uses his gun.
Oh, that's the ledge.
Okay, so there is a point where you can see him pull out the gun.
Yeah, so there's two things he can do with the dash. Is he can. That's not a death, Tristan. But thank you for the bits.
Thank you.
What's it called? He can do two things with the dash. He can just dash at you, or he can dash and pull out a gun. Damage. He's got to figure out when to not trade, because he traded there.
Yeah.
I can see the future. This isn't the one. Music here is good too.
Yeah. When's that, you?
Dude, I underestimated the umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's good damage too.
Yeah. Is that me? Jump.
Might be able to get an extra one in right there.
Maybe, yeah.
Rust. So you know your umbrella will block that.
Yeah. Oh!
This is the scary thing about Isha. If he gets you in a combo, like it's hard to get away from him because that
Yeah.
spear is deceptively long.
Yeah. Wait, where did you get this gun? It's like a gun.
Repeating gun?
Repeating gun over here.
I'm sure they existed, but I don't know. Not in a handgun form.
Yeah.
No way.
Gun? Okay, so if I look at that gun, maybe I should go jump attack and then like absorb the bullets and then do the. Oh.
If you do have to trade though, the bullets actually do the least amount of damage on all of his attacks. So if you have to trade, you absolutely have to.
Oh, the big shot there.
Oh, good. See, you can dodge through some sweeps.
Yeah.
It's got to be frame perfect.
You only use this gun if you're far enough away. No, he didn't jump. Oh, camera, please.
Got a gourds, by the way. Interrupts. You have pellets still if you want them.
I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay. I mean, you have divine grass if you want it.
I don't know. I'm not super keen on this one. I think I could do better. I dodge to the left or right after I do that. Cute.
That's woo! See, that's why you're not allowed to run off of every ledge. I don't know why you can this one.
That's funny. That's a good observation.
Soul of Lothric, thanks for the follow.
Soul of Lothric, thank you. Love me some DS3. So, you got a pretty rad name, I think. Okay, so let's put it all together now. I don't know what happened with this umbrella. Like,
It's really good.
it's really, really good, right?
You know, it doesn't take any more, what's it called, to use the divine or the fire shield. It doesn't take any more spirit emblems.
I thought this one was meant for bullets.
That one pulls bullets in, right?
Isn't that what it does? It's like magnetic, so I pull. I mean, that's
Upgrade
isn't
magnetic,
that what you told me.
Yeah, okay, so holding it out protects from light attacks, has a determination, nearly unbreakable. Enemy attacks can be deflected. So I think that the first one, the magnet, just allows you to spin it.
Oh, okay. I mean, is it worth 3 of these though? Like, I don't think he's an apparition. I don't think he's red-eyed and begun.
Well, do you think it will do extra damage either way?
I don't know. We could try.
Yeah, might as well test it out.
Hey, I'm not opposed to testing. I love testing. This is how you find cool things like this. Like how OP the umbrella is.
Or you could just fight him.
But it's so much fun to think of other ways to fight him.
Yeah, the second time.
I will restore Ashina to glory.
Yeah. You get to a point where Genichiro's just boring.
It is odd that they would put him here.
His fight almost unchanged 4 times in the game.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind Genichiro. I actually really like fighting him. But in comparison to his grandfather, he's pretty basic. Oof. That follow through though. Oh, good, Makiri. That's that. Phase 1. Poke.
Yeah, because it feels like it doesn't even need to be there anymore. You know, like 'cause he's
Yeah.
right. So try the R1 thing. Again.
Yeah, so this one you stayed close last time.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, the second one. He's so strong that the wind itself bends to his will. Makiri!
Problem is I take too much damage in the first phase. The umbrella works, but like it's
You trade. You
I
trade.
trade
with the
too much in this first phase.
Time to get perfect in the first couple phases then.
I think the strategy is works, but it's really high risk.
Once you learn his moves, you're fine. Like, remember, this is the second time.
I'm gonna try circle strafing for a bit. See.
Yeah, sure. Agree. I really like that he attacks with the moves you can do. He's just a lot better at them. Dude, did you hesitate at all?
I don't think so.
Because that's...
In fact, it's the opposite of that. I was like rushing him when I should have been baiting out his or his like running attacks and stuff. Because he has like 2. See? In the bits?
I believe.
Yeah.
Once we get these first 2 down, really it's the second phase. Once we get the second phase down, that's it.
I feel like the second phase is down more than the first. All he does is his gun and...
Oh, no, sorry, I mean second phase of 4, like Genichiro being 1.
Oh, right.
Genichiro being the first phase.
I will restore Ashina to glory.
Nice, good read.
He seems to always do a sweep after the downward strike.
He gets his arrows out faster than he normally does. There's a few things he can actually do after his jumping strike. One of them is nothing. One of them is a thrust. One of them is an unblockable sweep, and the other one is a blockable sweep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter ultimately because they're both things that you should probably just be dodging and be like jumping anyway.
Yeah. You can Makiri his thrust, but you got to be really sure that it's coming.
Oh, that one doesn't count. I forced myself to die there, but thank you, T.
Every death. Keep dying. Keep
No,
dying. Keep dying. Roddy wants a new console.
Yeah, well...
I will restore Ashina to glory.
If you remember to jump off his head, that would also get some posture on him. Only if you remember that. Ooh! Much better that time. Much better. Almost perfect.
He RNG'd so that he didn't do anything to get out of my sword strike, so he just hit R1 repeatedly. Like, I noticed in phase 1, like when I first fought him, right? He just did like the Ashina cross. He did like the triple attack. Like he would run to his right. 1, 2, 3, right?
Thank you, Rock.
Yeah. Did it,
Thank
but
you,
just behind
Dwayne.
the rock. A little quick dash.
That's all. That's
then you have
usually 3 if you're close.
Yeah. You have to block while like.
The music in this fight's very God of War.
I think it's very like traditional. Can't remember her name. It's her style. You know, like it reminds me of.
Mm-hmm.
Getting. I hit the button like 5 times. I was turned around, so. I think that rock messed up his AI. I did press it to guard, but it didn't take. Spacing better on that.
Couldn't have carried that if you wanted.
Yeah. Not like going for posture like when I fight him like this. First then dodge, like L1, L1B.
I guess helmet. The gold spearhead. Dude, E3 is like a month and a half away.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't that crazy? I'm so hyped to get hyped. This will be the year where they announce a Splinter Cell, man. This will be the year.
Let's say I have to run at him for him to do something.
I don't know. I never fight him far. I know. You're on your own. In the first phase, fighting him far.
You get lost into the animation when you get like
the stagger.
Weird, like I don't know what that is. Like stagger guarded, like when you're like guarding, but you're staggered.
Yep.
I don't know what happens when that happens, but
there's just a stagger animation that you have to complete first. I'm just excited to maybe see more of Borderlands 3. You're definitely going to see more of Borderlands 3. They're going to announce it's purely a single-player experience. Yeah, we can definitely watch E3 over here, Tristan. I love E3. It's Christmas for video games, man.
I don't know why you like E3 so much.
I love watching commercials, dude.
That's all it is, though. That's why I don't
love
understand
commercials.
it. It's
I
always
love
commercials.
Yeah, I love commercials.
Okay. I mean, E3 never tells you the whole story about what a game actually is. Clearly,
yeah, you're right.
The last couple of years of AAA gaming.
Yeah, you're right. But I like being excited. I like being excited about stuff.
You like being excited about something and then being disappointed by it?
Sometimes I don't get disappointed by it, though. Okay. I didn't get disappointed by God of War. I didn't get disappointed by Spider-Man. I didn't get disappointed by Last of Us. I didn't get disappointed by Halo 5. Well, a little bit. I didn't get, but that was not for E3's fault. That was Hunt the Truth's fault. That was 343 lying to me. I love commercials and trailers and all that, dude. I love it.
Get it?
It's so fun. It's so fun.
But it's never accurate to the actual end product.
That's okay.
Most times.
That's okay. I don't need to see the end product. If it's 6 months out, I shouldn't expect that to be the end product anyway. Right?
Like, very seldom do you even see gameplay and stuff like that. You never see.
Well, you see a lot of gameplay. It just is not necessarily the stuff that you remember, because you remember the negative stuff, which is the CG, which is fair. Some CG I don't like. Some CG I do like. The Star Wars, the MMO Star Wars game, Star Wars: The Old Republic, has some hype cinematic trailers. Same with like WoW. WoW has some like hypes like CG.
Yeah, it looks fine, but it doesn't tell you anything about the game. How
no, but sometimes maybe I just want to watch some CG.
Right.
You know?
I mean, the point of the game is to see how it plays, and if it just shows you CG trailers, it tells you nothing. So,
it gets me hyped that it exists. Sometimes it's enough to know it exists. Right? That's why they're going to totally announce Splinter Cell this year. and I'm gonna get hyped because it exists. That's all I need to know is that it exists.
But it could be like a Division 2 or something, like style game. Who knows? Because it's just a season
And
trailer.
that is for future Octo to be disappointed. Current Octo can be exciting.
Okay.
And sometimes when there's like you know when there's no Mega Man for 11 years or whatever, sometimes knowing it exists and it's being made.
The trailer
is enough.
was literally just the gameplay of the game. Like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I know,
this
but
is interesting.
just even if like Capcom was like, "Hey, we're making a Mega Man game and it's coming out this year,"
Right.
knowing that it exists, you'd be like, "Cool, I know it exists now." Except for you, it'd be cool. For me, it'd be like, "That's so hype! It exists!" I just like being excited about stuff, even if it doesn't all come to fruition. I like being excited about it. It's fun. Mefuki's not really into the lore, or into lore, yeah. You know, he's all business when it comes to games. That's fine. That's totally fine.
I mean, I like lore.
I prefer gameplay trailers over cinematic trailers too. I'm just saying that like when something's like, "Yo, this is just a concept trailer, so you know what we're going for." I'm like, I would have preferred to see gameplay, but it was cool. It was cool to at least know what you're going for, right? Oof. See, that gun actually doesn't do that much damage.
No. First spot right here.
Splinter Cell, Sam retires, and Sherman from Desert Storm fills the role. His life sucks and we can't have nice things. How dare you? Sherman is from Conflict Global Terror, not from this one. How dare you, my good sir?
Do a little backflip there.
So it seems like that does more damage through a block.
Perhaps. Jeez. Why did you unlock? He was not even on the R3.
Some attacks do that, man. It's weird.
Let me try doing this.
Yeah, he might have to finish the whole combo, and then you can punish.
Maybe.
I'm actually totally fine with the Splinter Cell where Sam retires at the beginning. Like, you play the first mission with Sam, and he retires or he dies or whatever. Because even though, like, Sam is amazing, like, I love that character, it would just be nice for them to not be like, we have to rely on this one character the whole time. Right? And then you'd free up to be able to do some spin-offs and some stuff like that, where you're not, you know, boggled down by just one character.
You just say boggled down?
Yeah. Does that offend you? Can a man not say boggled down? I know it's bogged down. There we go.
Moving to the left rather than moving into him. He moves pretty well there.
Could fill the role. His daughter? Someone not even related to Sam whatsoever. Could be, I can't remember his name. The black guy from Blacklist. Could be him. Could be someone new. But you could open up this game with him training someone. You know, like it's. I mean, they're probably gonna have. If they do another Splinter Cell, which I hope they do, it will be probably the second half of Blacklist, because Blacklist was a part one. It ended before the story concluded. It ended on a cliffhanger, right? So, and this will end in a thrust. I think you let go to it. Did the last game do well enough to warrant another game? Hey.
Or left. Oh! Same still? So the same moveset?
Oh, you're in the third phase. He's got some new stuff, but he's mostly the same.
Okay, I wonder if this will be the same attack. We'll see. None? No?
So that's one of his new moves.
Damn gun.
So here's the sales figures, Tristan. The Splinter Cell 1 was 6 million copies sold over 5 platforms. The sequel Pandora Tomorrow was 2.87 million over 5 platforms. Chaos Theory, the best one in the series, is 2.23 million over 5 platforms. Double Agent is 1.43 million. Conviction is 2.6 million, 2.06, and Blacklist is 2.11. So, does it warrant a sequel just by sales numbers? Yes, but it's a smaller development. I think they waited this long. It might be a strategy to wait this long to bring, because they were starting to do a Splinter Cell every couple years. I think what it might be is to bring fan interest back. People might have stopped caring, and that's why they stopped buying stuff.
Get in on those.
Or they were moving on to a new game. Like, it's kind of, you have to also look at how, not just like the copy sold as the quality of the game, but you have to look at how many copies were sold in the gaming climate, right? That the sales dipped for the second one, as they normally would, plus the second one wasn't that great. The third one was the best, but at that point in time, shooters were starting to take a hold in the mainstream.
Pushing the button.
And then once Double Agent came out, that's like peak. We're now in like Call of Duty 4 territory. And as soon as you bring Call of Duty into it, like people were just playing Call of Duty 4 like crazy, which is why it might be smart to bring it back with a new character as well, reboot the series. Exactly. Or like I said, not even reboot the series, but just like a continuation. But Sam's done. That's fine. You have any pellets?
Nope.
You have Divine Grass if you want.
Two.
Hopefully you don't dumb down the stealth and difficulty to appeal to a wider audience. I think the gaming landscape now... Doesn't block lightning, good to know. The gaming landscape now, I think, is much more in tune with difficulty than it has been. With the popularity of not just the Souls games, but I think they helped. People seem to be really into difficult games right now. You also have a bundled statue if you want to get a Resurrect back.
Yeah.
Up to you.
One divine.
You have more Divine Grass and more bundled statues. You can only carry one at a time. Yeah, I think the gaming landscape right now is actually more ready for something. Good call with moving around the rock. It is more ready for something hardcore, quote unquote, something intensive, something that you have to learn and master. I think people are more ready for it now than they've ever been. With games like XCOM and Darkest Dungeon and Dark Souls being in the mainstream now, right? These uber difficult games and like Binding of Isaac and other stuff going very mainstream recently. Oh! You have that grass if you want it. Oh. He must be far away from you. Yep, there he is. Good call.
Did we? Why that happened?
I think it would make as much as the other live service Ubisoft games. Seems to be the only model of games they make now. It's true, they could make Splinter Cell into a service if they wanted to pull in Spies versus Mercs. You know, it's kind of like what they did with Ghost Recon. If they didn't make, but I don't think they'd make Splinter Cell an open world. I think they have that game. You know what I mean? Like, they have an open world game. They have an FPS game. You know, they have their platformer in Rayman. They have their tactics game in Mario plus Rabbids. Right? They have all these things. Good job, dude. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
All right, phase 5.
Okay, here we go.
Good job. See, not that bad.
Yeah. Too bad.
Would you agree? Probably upper quarter.
Definitely upper. Yeah, I think he's up there. He does a lot
I like
of damage.
this. Ugh. Honorably. Do it.
Oh, I see. All right,
With the Mortal Blade. Do it.
You're like a monster now, I guess. Was he always a monster though?
No. Notice he didn't have a worm in him. Right? He was just immortal.
That's weird. Okay.
So that's why I think he was kind of like brought back from the dead. Like Genichiro was like himself a sacrifice.
Okay. At his peak, Ishin Ashina devoted himself to deadly conflict in pursuit of strength, a single-minded killing machine of a man.
Dragon Flash.
Art that performs a high-speed cut from ants. Shockwaves.
In his younger years, Ishin was a devil with a sword, spending his days in pursuit of life or death combat. He often ruminated on how a cut should be made, but his blade always moved first.
Ah. That's a good one.
Sword Saint, dude, 20K.
Yay!
Easy, man.
There it in. T, I did it. I beat Sekiro. Honestly.
Okay, before you do this, go back and get the memory of Ishin so we can read it.
Oh yeah. I had to give my review. Oh my goodness!
Thank you.
T, thank you. So generous. We have such generous
Shush.
viewers and subscribers and stuff.
I don't rest, just because I don't think it would mess it up, but I've never tried this before. One who returns from the great beyond does so at the peak of their prosperity. Ishin coveted strength and all manner of techniques throughout his mortal struggle. He wished for war until his final hour, and that is precisely what he got.
So, that Ishin is dead.
Yes.
But he came back from the grave.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he died, and then Genichiro, like, brought him back. Like, brought his soul back.
Huh.
That's why I think he was compelled to fight you.
That was good. I liked how I had to use a lot of my things
he's
to
cool.
beat him.
I like him a lot. Yeah. I'll tell you all the endings after we see this one.
Sure.
So give him the Dragon Tears and the Aromatic
Spin that
Branch,
wheel.
I think.
Wait, did I not give it to him?
No,
yet?
no. You'll have an option.
Oh, okay.
Wolf, where are you?
And the Everblossom.
And the Everblossom.
I am at your side. take the dragon tears. I hereby condemn the last immortal. May you live on and embrace what it means to be human.
There's that stance. Zero, no! Oh.
No, you cannot hook me up with some T-Dragon tears.
Oh. Good.
What do you think this is? A FromSoft game?
Well, I thought it was, yeah, one cutscene.
So you're leaving? Yes. I too will live for every moment. And then I will pass on. Just as my shinobi did for me. Lady Emma, I owe much to you as well.
Okay.
Sorry. I started smiling at the end there because I started thinking about how Kuro was just sitting there, like, laying there the whole time. And they're like lightning bolts shooting down
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Yep. So that's what I thought the true ending was. So I was like,
Okay.
that when I told you, I was like, they set up the sequel where Kuro is
the
traveling
shinobi.
Japan.
Okay.
Maybe he would find another immortal somewhere and be like, I need to stop this or whatever.
Okay.
So the other ending is if you just give him the dragon tears, Sekiro says the same thing. I condemn the last immortal, and he stabs Kuro.
Oh.
And Kuro dies, and then you pass out, and then you wake up, and you're the carver.
Whoa!
You're just carving stuff, or the sculptor. You're just carving Buddhas. And you don't have your arm on,
Oh.
and stuff like that.
What?
Because, you know, your sins and whatnot.
Flames of hatred.
Flames of hatred.
Which is not too far off from Shura.
Yeah, and the Shura ending is you kill them, Emma and Ishin.
Yeah.
Then Owl's like, ha ha ha, the divine blood will be mine, and then you stab Owl.
And you're all like,
And then he's like,
red-eyed.
and then you have like red eyes and like you're glowing like with the black
Yeah.
stuff.
And then Kuro's
And
like,
then
what
Kuro's
the?
like, Shura, and then that ends
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And you hold both your sword and the mortal blade in the other hand.
Yeah.
You're like, ah.
And then the fourth one.
And then the purification ending. And just to go over the steps again.
which is this one? No?
Sorry,
Which is,
the return ending.
okay, return.
Yeah, that was the purification. The return ending is just to go over the steps again.
Yeah.
You go talk to the divine child.
Right.
She gives you rice. You eat the rice. You then go get you go get a text, the Immortal Severance text.
Yeah.
Give that to her.
Yeah.
Or not the Immortal Severance text, a text.
Yeah.
You give that to her. She goes, okay, let me think about it for a while. You get 3 harvests of rice from her.
Okay.
You eat them all.
Okay.
You then talk to her again, and she goes, here, take this rice to Kuro.
Right.
It says rice for Kuro. You take it to Kuro. He goes, oh, thanks. He makes a sticky rice ball. He gives that to you. You eat that. You go back and talk to the lady.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, he made that? That's so sweet. Anyway, have you ever heard of the dried viscera?
Right. Okay.
And you give her
yeah.
both the dried and the fresh viscera.
Okay.
She says, please leave. You come back and you eavesdrop on her eating it, and she's like, she's like really struggling because she's eating a heart.
Okay. Okay, sure.
Then you come back and she's sick, and she's like, just give me a minute. I just need to find a persimmon. You give her one. She goes, oh, thank you. Then you leave and come back. Then you get.
There were a lot of items that I never ended up
Then
using, really,
you
'cause-
end up getting the frozen dragon tears. You give the frozen dragon tears to Kuro. What happens there is then the divine child of the rejuvenating waters shows up. Or you bring Kuro to her.
Okay.
And she goes, okay, close your eyes. And you close your eyes again, and then you open your eyes and Kuro's gone. And she's like, don't worry, Kuro lives on in here. She absorbs Kuro.
Okay.
And she's like, we will walk to a path of enlightenment together. With Kuro, will you protect me?
Right.
And he goes, I have to protect my master.
Right.
So they end up going to whatever the next place is together. The divine child of the rejuvenating waters and
So you're
Sekiro.
saying that is more
That's
of a setup?
probably the trending, and that's also a setup of you have to defend her and Kuro, who's still sentient and conscious
Right.
within her.
Okay.
But it's not like they take over.
Right.
It's like he just is an observer
Huh. Okay.
in search of getting Kuro back into a body that isn't immortal, I assume.
Okay.
So that could be the other setup for
A possible sequel?
a possible sequel.
Miyazaki may not do it. I have evidence that he will, because
We'll see.
like he's not the kind of guy to do that unless he absolutely has to, like Dark Souls.
Yeah, I assume he might give a team Sekiro too,
Yeah.
because it seems like they wouldn't have left it so open either way.
Well,
It seems a little weird.
all the games are sort of left, so I love their games. Well, yeah, not much Demon Souls.
Demon's Souls is pretty fun. So is Dark Souls too. You just sit on a throne and the door's shut.
Yeah, but that's like a perpetuating thing. Like it's like a. Anyway.
But I mean, like,
Alright, so-
for your character,
Sure.
it is
Yeah,
over.
Yeah. So my review of the game, I liked the game a lot more than I thought I would going in. By the end. Ultimately, I'm not as big a fan of the combat as I am of the Souls games. But my opinion of the combat did improve as the game went on, and I was given more tools and that. I think it has a lot of the very enjoyable exploratory elements and stuff like that. I think the exploratory elements are diminished slightly because there's not as much interesting things to find for me. There were a wide variety of styles of combat, not so much styles of combat. It's more like methods to take out bosses more than I thought they would be, because they were really emphasizing the posture system, making it so that is the way you beat bosses. I did not want a FF13 stagger bar system again, but it actually was not entirely that, and then being able to bait out attacks and go long range and do damage for HP and do that. I think that the skill trees ultimately were half-baked. I think that skill trees were mainly full of like have one more emblem, or your skills do a little bit more. And there were a bunch of ones that I think shouldn't even be in a skill tree, like midair deflection or run and slide. Those seemed like things that you should just have. Or like Mikiri counter is like you should have Mikiri counter. Every playthrough I've seen that, like the beginning of playthroughs of everyone always just says, just get Mikiri counter. And then like you go in the skill tree and you're like, hey, you know what else we can get now? Improved Mikiri counter. And I'm like, Is this skill tree really fleshed out in an interesting way? And I don't think it is.
It does seem like the skill tree mostly just was stuff that you should have anyway.
Yeah.
And not optional upgrades.
Yeah, a good part of it, I would say. I think the Senpo tree might be partially an exception to that, because at least has the praying strikes and high monk abilities, but you know, and of course the third component of the skill trees was combat arts, and let's be real now. Combat arts are just the weapon arts from the previous Souls games.
Yeah,
I mean that's what they are. They're only difference is that you have a
cool.
Only difference is that you can equip multiples, or you could equip them in a menu rather than changing a weapon in order to the weapon art, which is fine, I think. I think I
would
what
like
else?
more depth to the. If there's a sequel, I would like much more depth to the skill trees to make them feel like so for instance, if there's a sequel, everything from the skill trees in this game you should have by default.
Yeah, I think there's only a small smattering of things that you could actually say are actually like, I can make these choices, this choice or that choice. Whereas like here, it's just like get materia counter, get this and that. So run and slide is along the way. This is also why I tend to not be the biggest fan of skill trees. I find like that they're arbitrary sometimes, where like. Early on I was like, oh, I want the carry counter, because everyone's saying that you need the carry counter. But to get that, I had to get run and slide, which I didn't want. So
That's not true. To get suppressed presence too.
My mistake, yes.
Or it was something like that. Makiri is one of the beginning points.
Right.
On the skill tree.
So yeah, that's the point is that I don't like the idea of getting things that I don't want. You get things that I do want. And yeah, there's that. I've been impressed as I watched other people play the game. I've been impressed by how other people have beaten the bosses, and again, I think that the game has those soulsy things that I appreciate so much. So even though there's no different weapons, there clearly are, as we just saw for the umbrella.
Yeah.
I think that the rhythm game aspects of the game, so like basically the having to push, jump or dodge or guard, and so like when you know the abilities, like for me, I would rather just be consistent things. So like I know that you can technically dodge attacks that are perilous.
They're frame perfect.
It's much harder. And I feel like that's a little bit consistent in my experience. Like I can be able to just dodge it if I can then dodge it. So in a Souls game, if you know that you have, you have anywhere between 18 to like 8 frames, depending on how fast you're rolling around. And that's the same in every fight. Just a matter of what enemies do and how. I think that this game does appeal to people who enjoy the parrying in Souls, but like want it more fleshed out. And
people like me.
And yeah. So, but it doesn't really appeal to me as the primary way to come at combat. So what else? I think there was a point where I was a little bit like, it wasn't a big deal. I think some other people might think of it as a bigger problem than I would. But I think there was a point where I was like, I fought Juzo like 4 times now. and one shadow 3 times, and to be fair, there were some variations on the one shadows and stuff. So that's why it's not a big deal. But I can see people having a problem with like recycled content, so to speak. What else? Sadly, and I feel I mean this sincerely because I love Yuka Kitamura. That's her name. Yuka Kitamura is I think DS3, Dark Souls 3 is one of the best soundtracks like ever. Not just her either on that OST either.
This game has a very different tone than Souls. I don't think she was able to get those big themes out, as she was asked more to make atmospheric
right. Well,
stuff.
This is what I was going to say. I don't think that the music in this game is bad. I just think that she's capable of doing a much stronger themes and melodies. I don't think she did that here. Too bad. Really
well, you saw it in like in Ishin and in
Owl for me is a standout song. It actually has like a melody. And she's usually really good about that. One of the best songs in DS3, and some of them in DS2 even have that. This was mostly a solo pair, so I think she had to work with a lot of different kinds of styles.
She also had to make it sound very old Japanese.
Yes, she used a very specific sound font. And I actually heard someone actually posted this on GameFAQs. Someone posted use the sound font that she used to do a remix of Finger Brush Symphony.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Right, and that was really really cool. But yeah, she definitely had some limitation. But ultimately, I think that she did a good job. It's just that I wish the music was a little more catchy, like Bloodborne's and PS3's music was.
I would have loved the music to be more like Bloodborne's.
It wasn't bad. Let's see what else. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. So I don't have this in an actual. I think it's a little funny that I talked this up last like when I first heard it to just PR speed, and I feel like I was mostly right about it, where they were saying well, we don't want to put on all different weapons because we want to make sure that everyone has all the same tools. That way, everyone can play the same game, be on even footing. And I'm like, yeah, but you can just not find a certain tool, or you could forget you have one, and there's a certain point where the argument where you say, well, the benefit to Sekiro is that without all the weapons and other things, it makes the game easier to play for everybody. It's the game, games were never that hard to play in the same way that Sekiro is not hard to play.
I don't think they did it because of people. I think they did it because it's easier to design, and they were going for a different tone.
Ultimately, I think that they did it because it was easier. Easier to design, easier to do. It's faster.
Yeah, and they're not making, they didn't make an RPG here.
Right.
So why would you put in all these different things?
Well, but it's interesting how it's still in the game, even though they weren't going for that.
Well, it's because it's their identity, right?
Right. Well, I think it's because they're from software and they like making RPGs. Even when they make it not an RPG, you can't help but.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's in their DNA.
Right. I
don't think it's a bad thing that this game only has a katana, because I think this game is they didn't. This is not Dark Souls 4. This is not Bloodborne 2.
Dark Souls is also not Demon Souls, right? And then. Not Kingsfield, right?
The difference in that, and I think that's an unfair comparison. Have you guys seen the Sonic movie trailer? I saw a screenshot of what Sonic looks like, and I'm out. I'm immediately out.
I saw a screenshot of Dr. Robotnik being played by Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
What?
It's a little weird.
If it's a different guy, I don't know.
But yeah, what I'm saying is to say, well, Demon Souls isn't Dark Souls is a really bad argument, because Dark Souls is the sequel to Demon Souls that Miyazaki wasn't allowed to make.
Yeah, sure, but I'm saying that I'm kind of agreeing with you in that it's in their DNA to make RPGs. So like even when they try to do something different, they have to go. Well, what do? Well, we have to put all of these like effects in the game that do different things, and they make bosses easier or harder depending on how you use them. And if you're using them properly and all these things, which is a good thing.
Well, I that's a very normal action game thing to do. That's what God of War did. The first 3, right? The first 3 they have different weapons that make some bosses easier and some bosses harder, right? I think what it was they were trying to emulate a game more like that, but with the combat that they have frankly perfected, or if not perfected, very close to perfecting, and you know and. I think because of that, you know, we everything that looks a little Soulsy is because FromSoft is making it. If this was another game made by a different company, I don't think we would be having any of these complaints. And I think that's totally fair to have these complaints because it's FromSoft. What I'm saying is because from the outset they were very open and very fair with what the game was.
Sure, I agree. But I'm saying that they are not as far off as they think they are.
No, I agree. But I think, you know, the point in not having allocated stats with that piece of wood just on having allocated stats and just having posture and health. I think that's probably because that's what you do in action games. Right. It's damage and health. Right? So they just added one more element because they wanted to make the fighting a little bit more their style, which was to add at least one wrench into the machine.
Well, their style, as I always say, their style is a turn-based idea, right? So the idea...
I've never seen these guys win before.
Want to encourage... Hey, you know what? Hey, can you try the umbrella on like these dudes like from a distance? Now, like, do it.
What, you mean the spin?
No, I mean like shoot them RB.
Just to attack?
Yeah, like hold.
Oh,
it does have range.
It does have range.
That's what I thought.
That's cool. Right off the ledge.
Okay, so yeah, I think that it's funny how, again, I'm gonna say like even though this happened with Bloodborne, I said it wouldn't happen. I would try not to let it happen. It happened again in this game. All right, everyone's saying don't play it like a Souls game. Don't be aggressive. Don't play it like a Souls game. Okay, fine. I won't play it like a Souls game. And the more the game goes on, the more I realize, no, you have to play like a Souls game. Like the last half of the game, you're not like letting your enemy do their thing, and then reacting and then counterattacking. You're gonna get comboed. Now, the difference here is like you can like block. Here's the thing. Having no stamina means that you can just block forever. Mm-hmm. So you can just it's like in Dark Souls if you had infinite stamina for blocking, where like you can just block forever.
Yes and no.
And then
because you can't block forever because of the posture.
Well, I don't mean forever. That's hyperbole.
I know what you mean.
Everything. Yeah, you can block everything and all that.
Oh, you killed this one.
Yeah. A trick to beating him.
What was the trick?
He has no back attack, so if you just hold down the B button, move around him, he'll just be like...
Weird. He does have a back attack. I guess it only triggers from the front.
Yeah.
Weird. Because he has the spin, which hits all around him.
Yeah. And after the spin, he teleports to tries to... So... But yeah, like I said, I think ultimately, Sekiro is a good game, and I enjoyed it. But it's not a game I think. Well, yeah, I was gonna say in my review that it's not a game I would want to go back to, but in the last couple of streams, there's actually been a lot of like cool things about the prosthetic tools that I didn't know about. That makes the game.
And you can also sequence break this game easier even than every other Souls game other than 2.
Right.
You can, like, you went to you went to go fight Snake Eyes way before you were supposed to.
Yeah, yeah. Wachula! Hey, we're actually just finishing up the stream. I just beat the last boss. So it's tradition whenever we beat a game, that's a new game for us. We do a review of it. So right now, Octo and I are doing a review of Sekiro. Thank you for coming, Wachula. How you doing? Good. So, yeah, I think ultimately it's not really a game that I would go back to. I don't think, but it was worth a playthrough. Absolutely. So as a fan of the Souls games, like I said, if you're a fan of more of the parry type combat and the of stealthing as well, then this is like improved Souls in those parts. I would be happy with next sort of RPG that they do, much like Rally. I'm catching streamers here and there playing it. Yeah, Wachula. I'm excited to see Banjo play it too. I think he's gonna have a hard time with it, but he's also, I mean, like, he's persistent. He spent 4 hours on Frida, so if he can do that, he can do this. Oh, right. Yeah, so try with him. Like, just like hold down the B button and just make sure that because when you're in the mist, you run slower. But if you hold down the B button, you can run fast enough.
Oh yeah, I see. I was just gonna do this.
Oh. I think that going forward, the next RPG that they do, if it has, like, you know, a shield or a sword or something that has the effects of posture and the like, then that would be a good thing. And I think that's what that I would love to have that happen. Like, a piece of gear that also gives you like improved stealth in this game's sense.
Oh no, not the grab.
Maybe because it's so fresh to me, but I enjoy the combat in this game more than other Soulsborne games. It's more cinematic. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the kind of gamer you are.
Okay, that does not block grabs.
I think it's a matter of what kind of game you want. I think that Sekiro has some differences that makes it harder than others, but there are some ways it makes it where it's easier as well. But yeah, much like the rally system in Bloodborne, I'm like, why didn't they put the rally into like Dark Souls 3? That was a great idea. It was a small thing that can modulate your gameplay, and I think that From Software loves modulating gameplay in those kinds of ways. So, you know, moving forward, you can have those different play styles in future From Software RPGs. That'll be good. Like the umbrella is a really cool thing. Yeah.
It makes him trivial.
Yeah. Like there's a good example, right? So the lilac umbrella, like, it makes the game easier. So like there was all this talk about the Sekiro need easy mode, right? And I was telling Banjo last night. I was telling Banjo, like, the easy mode in From Software games is contextual. It's, you know, you're gonna have an easier time in Dark Souls 2 if you're, you know, if you're using the Ring of Life protection and you know to buy life gems and all this kind of stuff. If you're using the Fire Longsword. When you're in your first playthroughs, things like that. And if you join the Covenant of Champions, and maybe you fight certain bosses in different order, you might have a harder time. And your playstyle and your builds are also gonna affect how the game is found. So like, I'm sure I'm gonna go online now, and I'm gonna go see like people are gonna be like, Ishin, like, someone help me. I cannot beat Ishin. He's too hard. And
yeah, there's Makiri. You had to get that to improve Makiri.
That's right. And I'm not suggesting that Ishin is not hard. Suggesting that your playstyle will make bosses easier or harder, and that's a good thing. Because what you don't want in any game is you don't want most games that are like action or like RPG type focus, like even this game is not an RPG.
This is the combat art you never got, by the way.
Oh, that's the Creating Strikes?
Yeah.
Right.
Heavy posture damage.
You don't want everyone to go through the exact same experience in the exact same way. You want everyone, because there's like sort of a communal aspect to games, and that can be achieved through different experiences, which is achieved through the usage of different abilities and tools and all this kinds of things. So everyone can come together and be like, "What about did you find Owl hard?" Yeah, bro, I spent like 2 hours fighting him, and then I beat him like third try. And that's not like a, oh, get on my level, bro, comment. That's simply a matter of, in my experience, because of my playstyle, it took longer, but I beat him quicker. It doesn't mean, it has no bearing on whether you actually are good at the game or not. And this is why the concept of like the get good mentality, I'm not into that, because despite these games being very hard at the beginning, there's a lot of things in the games that make them much easier, whether it comes to the umbrella or just getting enemies to do what you want them to do.
I'm currently watching someone play through this game, and they're making great use of Ichimonji in between attacks when enemies teleport away, just to get rid of his posture. And I never thought to do that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And it gets rid of your posture faster than if you're holding block.
Yeah.
Especially
That's
with
cool.
Ichimonji double.
So it's those little choices that make the game feel like it's your own playthrough, and that it's something that's special. So, so I'd say that if you want to achieve that in these games.
Where I fall on this game, just because like you like it, didn't love it. That's basically what I'm getting from.
Yeah, which is more than I thought I would happen. I thought I would dislike the game.
Yeah.
By the end, but actually, going in, I thought I would dislike it. I ended up liking it. So.
I adore this game. My main problem with this game is that it's pretty little. On repeat playthroughs, you can get through this game very quickly. Yeah, it's not even like it's like even more so than Souls. Like once you've kind of gotten grips with the combat, it's even faster than like the early Souls games.
And what are your thoughts about like what I said about like repeated content?
Honestly, there's 4 Juzos in the game.
4 Juzos, 3 Lone Shadows, there's 2 Seven Spears, 2 Elites.
I'm fine with that.
3 Generals.
I'm fine with that. I actually wish there were more Generals and more. The Generals are my favorite mini bosses. The Generals and the Seven Spears are my favorite. The Lone
Shadows.
Yeah, the Lone Shadows. They're whatever. I mean, they're basic enemies to me. Like, I'm happy we didn't have more Blazing Bulls.
I did, with 2 Blazing Bulls. But like again, if they were like despite what most I think the average from like Souls game, you feel like this game was made with the speedrun community in mind?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, in some ways, but why do you think that?
More so than Souls for sure. The prosthetic tools and the grapple hook, and how you have buff items in this game, more so even than in Souls.
Right.
Makes me think that it was, even if it wasn't a focus, it was definitely more of a passive focus than any of the Souls games.
Yeah, I would argue that it's that speedrunners will use whatever it is in the game to their advantage. And it just so happened that there are a lot of tools in the game that makes the game easier and more manageable.
Well, I mean,
so I don't think like.
Well, that's what I mean with kind of it's passive. Like,
Right.
it's this game's built more for speedruns than Souls is, I think, because
Yeah.
it seems like it's more fun to watch basic traversal and stuff. Like, I find when I watch speedruns of Souls games, if I'm not watching you fight a boss, I'm extremely bored.
Really?
Yeah,
I
extremely.
love every moment of it. Great.
So like I feel like this game's a lot flashier, the combat's a lot faster. It's all stuff that even if you know.
See, I don't necessarily like super fast combat is the thing.
Well, I don't like super fast combat. Like, that's not what I'm saying. It's
Right.
like this game's slower than Neo still. This game's slower than Bloodborne, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're very comparable. I don't know if I can say one's slower or faster.
But you know, like I think the combat in this game is what I'm looking for with the complexity of combat in Dark Souls. When I'm not talking about advanced techniques, I'm just talking about swinging my sword. And I think I want the next Souls game to feel like this when I swing my sword, and not like Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3. Because Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, it's fine. I'm swinging my sword. I'm doing damage. But I feel like I can do more in this game, and to a lesser extent, Bloodborne. But Bloodborne more than the other Souls games, because at least then I can, you know, I can have a different weapon essentially with the push of a button, and I don't have to worry about my equip load. In the trick.
But it's stuff like that makes the choices you make meaningful. So you have to be like, okay, well, what do I?
Sure, but
there's pros and cons to doing everything, right?
Again, what that effectively means for most people is that they use one thing. Out of all the people, out of probably the 15 people I've put into Souls games, you're the only one that plays like you. Everyone else plays like me.
Because they don't play like an RPG, right?
No, people that I have played that exclusively play RPGs.
Right.
Don't play like you, where they find one thing and they're like, okay, this is my weapon, got it. And then, because you can play RPGs like that too, because that's how how I play RPGs most of the time. Right? Like I'm not playing it like it's a looter shooter where every time I pick up a new weapon, I'm like, all right, hold on, I gotta check my inventory.
Well, no, yeah. Obviously, you find a weapon that that jives with you, you stick with that. But having okay, basically this is what I think Sekiro is like because of From Software can't get rid of their RPG blood. The prosthetic tools, I think there's like 10 of them in the game. Are the vestiges of what From Software likes.
Excuse me?
It's RPG. They're RPG builds. The umbrella is clearly like the tank option. But for me, it's just like the Souls games have that, and then some. They have more content and in almost every way. So that's why I appreciate them more. I think.
I think this is probably the best way I can put it without us getting on a tangent with each other. Is you appreciate what you fight with, and I appreciate how you fight.
All right. We can,
I think that's pretty fair.
I think that's fair.
And I don't want the next Souls game to be exclusively about what I fight with. Now that I've tasted some complexity from Software,
it's ironic though. Go ahead.
Now that I've tasted some complexity from Software, I want complexity. I want the end of my relationship with my sword isn't just right bumper R1 and R2. Thanks for the entertaining session, guys. Gotta head out. See you later.
I can see everyone next time. No problem. Thank you, Wachula. Thank you for the follow as well. Always appreciated having people in the chat.
But yeah, I don't want the end of my relationship with my sword or my mace or whatever to be R1 and R2, and then extremely rarely L2. I want it to be.
But is that not how you play this game? Like you mostly just hit R1. and then like occasionally you hit
You hold.
L1 R1.
But it's how you interact with the enemies, and there is more. I feel like there's more contextual interaction with an enemy in this game than there is in a Souls game. And I'm not just talking about the death blows. I'm talking about reading basic enemies is more important in this game than in Souls, and mastering someone's moveset rather than just mashing through them.
Thanks, Wachula. Thanks, Wachula.
Is typically in this game more important than it is in now. Obviously, not with every enemy. Like basically, what I'm saying is I want more complicated enemies. I want enemies to not be throwaways like torch hollows or hollows with swords, where the only difference is how much damage they do. I want there to be significant differences.
It's funny how you say that
between the
because I
enemies.
think that the recycling of like the Lone Shadows, for example, is like that's the thing. It's
Well,
like, most of them are just do more damage. They're the same enemy.
Well, yeah, and that's why I'd forgive it when it's a mini boss, and that I also forgive it because this is essentially them pushing the restart button, right? Like at this point in time, this was the pitch for Sekiro. That's how I treat the first game in any series.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first one. That's your pitch. Now the second one needs to be that, but on a much grander scale, right? Like Dark Souls 1 looks basic in comparison to Dark Souls 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Right? So where Bloodborne looks very basic on the surface to even something like Dark Souls 1. But you and I both know Bloodborne has much more complex combat than Dark Souls 1, even with less options.
Maybe in terms of what you do in combat, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, which is what I'm saying.
Right.
And I'm fine with you know the focus being what I fight with. I played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and they're some of my favorite games of all time. But I am.
You want to push more buttons, basically. You want to I'm not trying to to say that in a derogatory way or dismissive way.
Same with the Borderlands games. 1 was good, but 2 was much better. Exactly. 1 was the pitch.
Of course, Len, sequels should get better and better overall. I think in games they tend to do that.
Well, see, I see a lot of sequels that play it safe, and that's
right.
not what I want.
Right.
I want you to push the envelope. Very much so. You know, like FromSoft doing this like weird little rat people and stuff in a more quote unquote grounded setting. Grounded as this takes place in Earth on Japan. You know what I mean? Like this takes place in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Not in Lordran. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like it's a slightly more grounded premise. But at the end of the day, we get real wacky with it. We get giant worms and people.
Yeah.
Like I want giant worms and people should be tame. In the
that's another thing. I think that I would have liked more of that in this game. I think that
I agree.
My favorite enemies were like stuff like the Mist Nobles and things like that.
I actually don't really like the Mist Nobles all that much. They're not that fun to fight. But I'm also the boring guy that really just like. I like the idea of them too. But I'm also the boring guy that's like, yeah, just give me more foot soldiers. That's fine. Get out of my way. But anyway, all that to say that by the time I got around to Dark Souls 3, and you know how hyped I was for Dark Souls, we were both like honestly like way overhyped because there was no way that game was going to live up to my expectation, and it did.
Yeah, it did. It was
like that was my expectation for that game was so same with this one. My expectation for this game was so high, and the only place it disappointed me was stealth was too light. But that was something that I was already like, that's probably going to happen, is stealth is going to be really light. So I can forgive it for that. But all that to say, by the time I got to Dark Souls 3,
right,
and I finished it, I was pretty much done. I get it.
I'm
like Dark Souls combat, I get it. You go in, you hit R1 until they die, I get it. Like, for most of the enemies. You dodge through the attacks, I get it. It's more interesting to me to play and to not dodge and just to use a shield. Even though that's way more basic, it's because it's something that almost no one ever does. Because everyone just picks a sword, typically. Your first playthrough, you pick a sword, you pick a shield, and you use the shield on mobs and never on bosses. And unless you have a great shield. Right. And that's just how you do it. And I'm done with that at this point now. That's why I enjoyed Neo so much. It's why I enjoy Bloodborne so much.
But again, it's because you have more buttons to press, right?
It's not necessarily about buttons to press. It's about
because well, I mean, it appeals to you when you have like that rhythm game aspect to combat. When you have all those buttons that you need to push in a certain order to achieve optimum, you know.
Typically, yes, I'll give that to you. But I just noticed that this guy has pure white eyes. But all that they needed to do from Dark Souls to Bloodborne was to do this. That was enough complexity. So if more buttons means one extra button, like, because I don't want anyone to get it misconstrued and you say you want to press more buttons. I'm not like playing Guitar Hero on the controller over here. You know what I mean? Like
right.
this game doesn't ask a lot from you. It asks you to push A instead of B. You know, like.
Well, no, it asks you to push A sometimes, but also B sometimes, but also L1 sometimes.
That's not hard.
No, but that's why I'm alluding to the rhythm game aspect of it. Right?
Okay.
Right? Where
yeah, sure. I just think
you push buttons in a certain order, but only sometimes.
I think what it is another hotbar situation where when I hear you just want to hit buttons, I'm thinking I'm thinking I'm coming at it from the fighting game perspective, where hitting buttons means matching.
No, I'm coming at it from, like, in fighting games, you hit a sequence of buttons because you want to make sure that the enemy can't do anything. Like, you want, like, the fighting is enjoyable for people in this game because they like being able to be like, R1, oh, ow, ow, block, and then they can do and your enemy attacks. Oh, nope, deflected, and then you can hit the attack some more, and then, you know, you want to get into the rhythm where you're doing a perfect on the song, so to speak, where your enemy just can't touch you because you're just like block, deflect. Where in Souls games, it's like, no, because stamina is a thing, you have to let your enemy get a chance to attack.
Well,
you can't attack forever.
Yeah, sure.
And you can't, also can't attack and then deflect. Like,
I'll give that to you.
Right?
I'll give that to you because the way I think of Souls is not like that either. To me, I think of Souls as I'm getting my stamina back as just a lull in the solo.
See, that's why I refer to Souls as a turn-based game,
and that's why I refer to it
forever.
That's why I refer to it as boxing. It's not that I can't go forever; it's that you don't want to go forever.
Yeah, because I would say you can't. It's not that you. Because you want to go forever, because that would just make it so the enemy dies faster, but you can't because the stamina system limits your ability to do that. So you have to stop. Because, like, I'm watching, Banjo play through the game. He's using the Exile Greatsword, and I was telling him all the pluses and minuses of using the Exile Greatsword. With his stamina investments and all that stuff, he can swing it twice before he runs out of stamina. But you need a little bit of stamina in order to roll out of the way of something. So you can swing it twice before you get hit. So, like, if you're fighting an enemy who gets staggered by the potentially high stagger of the Exile Greatsword, you can't, like, stagger lock them to death unless you can kill them within 2 hits.
Yeah, sure. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So I like that, right? I like that.
Sure.
system.
Yeah. You like slower combat, and that's not me saying a derogatory thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying derogatory thing about your style of combat.
Yeah, it's 2 different preferences.
Right.
I like reactive and predictive, where you like just predictive. My predictive is not necessarily before the fight; it's during the fight. As well as reactive, which is purely in the fight. And the predictive you like is prior to the fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
or predictive, at least in the sense of during the fight of I know if I do this, he will do this.
Yeah, and that's what I like about the Souls games. That's what I like about, because you're still in like sort of in control of the fight via knowledge of how the fight works. And when you find out stuff like, you could, when you're far away from Ishin, he has like 2 attacks, maybe 3, and you kind of make the enemy do what you want it to do, so that you can fight it more easily. I find that really enjoyable. Whereas I think you wanted this game to be all just like you're in the enemy's face, and you can just like you have to just like stand there and be like, okay, here comes the attack. Oh, this was delayed, so I have to hit L1 and then L1, L1. And then,
no, it's not that. What I wanted from this game is, and I can see how you could think that, but what I want from the game is not necessarily how I can explain it in game terms.
Right.
What I want from this game is the same thing I wanted from Neo, and which I actually got a little bit more of in Neo, and is why the generals are my favorite fight.
Speaking of the generals,
Yeah, that's why I came here. The generals are my favorite fight in these games, in this game, because what I want is duels. I find it infinitely more interesting when I'm dueling something than when I'm fighting a mob. So that's why I like enemies being so complex, is because I want to duel you. You know, I want to be put into I want to play a fighting game, but that's not as intensive as a fighting game.
Right, and I know what you mean when you say duel, since that you're doing so now. But I like dueling enemies as well, but just in a different manner, right? Where they react, again, turn-based, right? Where like they react, you can't, unless you expect the status effects, you're not like juggling an enemy in a turn-based game, or like stunning them so they can't do anything. You're just locking them down. Whereas in like sort of your style of dueling that you like, that happens a lot more, where you juggle a guy or where you deflect them or otherwise disable them via reaction timing and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to juggle. Like I just said, I want a fighting game without the complexity. Like I want a fighting game light, because it's going to be way too much work on your brain. If this game was like a fighting game, this would be way too much work on your brain to ever get anything done.
Well, yeah. Well, case in point is like the deflect system is much more lenient than the parrying in Dark Souls. Oh lord. So, but yeah. So I guess maybe we should wrap up our review now. Oh, I guess a couple of other points left.
We have to spin the wheel. I just got Dark Souls 3 Deluxe Edition for $20 on sale. Nice.
Oh,
I hope you like. I hope you like it, man. Dark Souls 3 is probably, out of the Souls series, and not including Bloodborne, probably the best one to start.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I think Dark Souls 2 or 3 is the best one.
Yeah, Dark Souls 1 is not. Dark Souls 1 is the most unforgiving.
And the most, like, if you don't know what to do,
it's the most cryptic.
Good luck. Right.
Dark Souls 3 is kind of like, here you go, here's a straight line.
Hey, here's your hub with all the things that you might want. Like,
yeah.
Here's a person to level you up, here's the blacksmith's right here, right?
Don't be afraid to ask questions to people, whether that be online or in real life, or look something up.
Yeah, because it is communal.
The Souls games are communal things. I don't do it because I'm stupid and I like to do everything my own on the first time I play through something. But there's no there's another one up here. There's no shame in doing that. That's what Miyazaki was going for, the director of the game.
Yeah.
Was he was going for that playground style. Did you know this thing was over here? Did you know if you did the dragon prayer in the jail for 30 seconds, you get teleported? Did you know that?
Did you know that if you... Well, I mean, look at this game. Did you know that if you use the lilac umbrella against...
You can't get hit?
You just can't be hit by apparitions?
Yeah.
Basically?
Game should be easy. I one-shot the first boss in Dark Souls 1.
If you recall.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
First attempted.
Yeah, man, don't worry.
But
Dark Souls 3, yeah, there's this guy named named Udex Gundyr. He's super easy. Just go fists only.
I think at this point, Aaron must have watched me fight Udex Gundyr at this point. But yeah, but dude, don't be afraid of dying. Dying is gonna happen, and it might get frustrating, but it can always come back from deaths, and you're gonna be better off if you learn that. If you always remember that deaths are a learning process, and failure is a learning process. Like every boss, just assume that you might die a couple times at least, because you don't know what the boss is gonna do. Or you're just gonna be like, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know the boss could follow up this attack or do this or that, or his tracking could be this good. Death happens, and it's a learning experience. But yes, so I think ultimately I would say, I guess, wrap up the review of the game. 2 extra more points left. I thought the story was fine.
I think the story's better than any story. Sorry, I think the plot in this game is better than any plot in a Souls game.
I think
Plot.
if you say plot, then I think yes, because there really is no plot. It is your character's story, you know, like it is your character's plot.
Yeah.
It is a story about the world, but there's not really a plot that pertains to your character specifically, really. Dark Souls 2 has a little bit.
Like Dark Souls has better lore.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, bud. We just gonna stare at each other?
Ultimately, I don't think that this story was like anything like amazing or anything, but it was good.
It was
I
nice to
enjoyed
see
it.
that FromSoft can make characters that actually behave like human beings.
In their Soulsy, in their From Software kind of way.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they act more human in this game than they do in the other games.
Sure. Yeah, I guess I can say that.
That's probably because the other games are horrible post-apocalyptic undead nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is why I think it would be interesting, kind of like when you asked me, like, what kind of From Software games do you want to make? Well, I would like to see them make an easy game. I'd also like to see them make a game that is not, like, a horrible, like, Wasteland kind of game. And this was, like, closer to
It's
that.
not, yeah, it's not a Wasteland. It's just, there's a bunch of supernatural stuff that ends up going on.
Yeah, I just think it would be interesting just to see what they could do with a game that's a little more
Grounded.
like, not even grounded, but just more upbeat. Like, what would a From Software Kirby game look like? Or something akin to a Kirby game look like? That would be an interesting thing, only just to see what they could do. What else? Last thing, I guess, is like graphics.
Where does this game fall for you on the Souls list?
That's what I was going to leave for last.
Okay. I think this game is beautiful, graphically.
I think there are a few areas that I really enjoy.
I think this game has the prettiest poison area
Yeah, okay.
out of the poison areas.
Yeah. I think they're...
Either this or Valley of Defilement. Right?
Yeah, well. I prefer the color scheme, I think. Ultimately, I prefer the color scheme of, like, Dark Souls 2. I think there's a lot more variance.
Well, it's brighter.
That's brighter, has more, like, varied environments.
This is going for a more of a realistic tone.
I think a lot of this game spends a lot of time... Yeah, you're right. But I think that for me, personally, I think the game spends a lot of time in, like, Ashina Castle, and Ashina Outskirts. And that's kind of like what you see most of the game. And that's what I was afraid of when it comes to...
See, I actually like
setting.
that because they picked Japan. That's where you're going to see most of the color, because Japan's nature is very vibrant and very colorful.
Well, this is why I say mostly, because I do like... I think Fountainhead Palace is excellent. I love that place. The way it looks and all that. But I think just Dark Souls 2 has more variation. I think it's because of the setting, partially.
Well, yeah, Dark Souls 2 is close to high fantasy as you can get in the Souls.
Where it's just like... There's level has lava, and like, you know, Dark Souls 1 has crystal caves, which I don't like as a
Which
level.
gameplay wise is trash.
But as a concept,
but it looks really cool.
Cool. I wish they'd done more with it. But I think it looks really good. A lot of the effects, like fire.
So yeah, fire
really
has never
good.
looked better. I couldn't mash through that one.
Okay. Another sort of thing I should mention. I think the unseen aid system is a little bit half-baked as well.
I agree. It seems like something that Miyazaki wanted to do and then got reined back.
It felt like it was a system where they were like, hey, what should we do about, like, dying? Well, we can't do Bloodstains again because Dark Souls, but we'll do something different. And it felt just like...
honestly, either make it much, much worse or not in it at all. Like, make it actually be, like, something that you have to worry about, or don't worry about it at all.
Here's what I think they should have done. Just, like, one minor, like, change maybe, possibly, is, why is the cap 30%? It should be, like, the more enemies you kill without dying, the higher the chance goes up.
Or if you really want to feel it, Unseen Aid starts at, like, 80%, and then the more people that get Dragon Rot, it drops lower and lower and lower.
Thank you for bringing that up. Dragon Rot, another sort of half-baked idea, in my opinion.
Again, cool idea in theory, but it half-baked. It was not... There was... I forgot Dragon Rot was even a thing halfway through my first playthrough.
And the reason why I say it was a half-baked thing is someone might say, oh, well, look, it's not a major part of the game. But the game, like, emphasizes how important it is.
The game makes you think it's going to be super serious.
Yeah, and all the press release stuff as well. And ultimately, it's just like...
Yep, that's the thing.
NPCs can't talk to you, and then you just use the thing to cure it, and it's like, whatever. It doesn't, like, change the way the game plays. or like
Nope.
make enemies fight you differently or anything like that. It's just like a, yeah, it's just there.
Like do I think it's better than other punishments for death in other Souls games? Yes. Because I think losing health bar sucks. Like Dark Souls 2 losing and Demon Souls losing health for failing sucks. Dark Souls 3 did it the best, where that is kind of given to you in the outlook of that's extra health. Embered is extra.
Yeah. Well, see, this is what I was talking about. Like, it really feels like all these games are intentionally designed to be hard at the beginning, both in terms of your skill level, because you don't know how to play the game well, but also in terms of your character. Your character is not very good. Your character has very little health, very little stats, right? And it's like interesting how they design a game where they managed to design a game where both you and your character get better. And this game, I think, is the same way, even though it's not an RPG. I understand. Where you have your tools get better and they get way more effective, and you can fight bosses in a different order. And suddenly, the Future Man Warrior, who may have been hard for you, uses like Umbrella on him.
He wasn't ever hard. He was
No,
just
but-
interesting.
Right, or like the Headless, he uses it on.
The Headless were hard.
Right? So like, there is a character build, what's the word? Character progression, character strength, avatar strength. That's the word.
Guys, I can't stop watching the Sonic trailer. Is
Oh,
it that
yeah.
bad? It's the first time I've ever killed someone with a flame gun.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a number. So yeah, also I think there's a number of like sort of, I thought like ideas that they had that didn't really like work out in a really meaningful way, and I think that with some improvements in technique and stuff like that, I think that they make another RPG. I think they take some of the ideas from this and they put that in the game. Like this is like, it's great. Obviously, this is actually, this is a good question to ask. I think that people are gonna have this debate for a while. Is this a Souls-like?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
A game doesn't have to be an RPG to be a Souls-like.
What makes it Souls-like?
I never thought we were ever talking about weapons to use and stuff when we talk
Makes
about
it
Souls.
Souls-like.
The way the fighting feels. No other action games feel like Souls other than the games that are attempting to emulate from Dark Souls.
Right.
Whether they're an action game or not.
So it's that back and forth that you're talking about?
Yeah. It's the back and forth, it's the shoulder buttons, it's the weight. It's the heavy impacts on both you and the enemy.
Yeah, I think the problem with the genre tag now Sekiro's out is we're having a Castlevania, Igavania, Metroidvania problem now, where I say to somebody, hey, can someone recommend me a Metroidvania? And they say, okay, well try what's it called?
Hollow Knight? The Knight?
No. Shadow Tower, whatever. Not Shadow Tower.
Shadow Complex.
Shadow Complex, or Hollow Knight. And then I play it. I'm like, well, this is fine, but it's not what I wanted. I wanted an Igavania game, right? I think that's the same problem with Sekiro being called a Souls-like, is we're gonna have that same like diluting of like what you actually want from a game when you actually ask for a Souls-like,
I find it interesting that Ever, all you described also describes Monster Hunter. No, not the heavy hits to the enemy. Only heavy hits from the enemy is Monster Hunter. What I mean is like you can like with one swing quarter shot a dude.
Right.
And I don't think you can do that in Monster Hunter.
I think yeah. But see, that's an interesting discussion to be having about like, well, how do we genre tag these things? Because for me, I always hate when I try to ask for people for a Metroidvania and they actually give me more of a exploratory thing.
Well, the problem is,
or like I want more of a Castlevania.
well, see
experience.
that's the problem, because then you don't ask for a Metroidvania, you ask for an Igavania.
Right, but this is why Igavania became a
thing,
a new thing.
and I think we are gonna have to get a new thing, or like
Get a
maybe,
new term for it.
yeah, because like, yeah, maybe this won't be a Souls-like. Like I don't know what else we'd call it.
Yeah,
Maybe you call the combat Soulsborne,
People
and
are-
the other one is a Souls-like. So one is more like Dark Souls, and one has the combat of Bloodborne and Dark Souls.
people were like sort of half tongue-in-cheek, like being like, so what are we gonna do, guys? What are we gonna call it? Soulsborne Hero? Maybe Souls Born? We'll have to decide. Everyone as a community has to decide.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see your point about it like, being called a Souls-like, but I think ultimately, yeah, that we're gonna have to come up with a new genre name for it, because it's. Some people say like the term, the very term like Souls-like is a useless term, but I don't think it is. It's because the reason why we have genre tags is to tell you at a glance what you might like, right? So in that sense, maybe Sekiro is can be accurately called a Souls-like and say like, well, it's Souls-like. So you might like it if it's because it's like Souls.
Well, yeah.
in some
See,
ways.
that's the deal. That's where I could even find something like. That's why Metroidvania for something like Hollow Knight and something like Symphony of the Night works, because it is there. Hollow Knight is nothing like Symphony of the Night.
Right.
When it comes to how you have stats and stuff like that. But it is like it in the fact that it controls similarly. It's a 2D exploration game.
Right.
Like, so it doesn't have to be exactly the same
Right.
as the genre, right? Like a stealth game can be many things. A stealth game could be Tenchu.
That's true.
A stealth game could be Splinter Cell. Think about this. Stealth game could be Splinter Cell 1. Stealth game could be Splinter Cell Conviction. Completely different games in the same series.
Yeah.
Completely different styles in the same series, right? And that's what I think. See, I've had people call Monster Hunter a Souls-like, even though Monster Hunter is older. I think it's just because Dark Souls is more popular than Monster Hunter in the West.
Yeah, again, that's I know that Monster Hunter is very, very popular.
Yeah, I just in
Japan.
the West. Yeah.
I think actually people refer to Monster Hunter as like a hunter game. I've heard people refer to it as a hunting or hunter game.
See, it's when I hear hunting game, I think like Cabela's Dangerous Hunts,
Yeah, I see.
like an actual hunting sim. Well, not the Dangerous Hunts, but
Right.
the hunting sim genre.
But yeah, I think your point is well taken. That like genre titles can't be specific to a certain degree.
Because then we're gonna get so much. We're gonna get so much over like either bogged down of like. Well, what do you
genre
mean?
titles.
Like, is Dark Souls a JRPG? Well, let's not call it a JRPG,
It is a JRPG,
even though
but
it's a
made in
JRPG.
Japan.
But it's not a JRPG.
It's not
That's
a
why we're like,
JRPG.
okay, now it's a turn-based JRPG.
Because
Okay.
It's not a JRPG because it's not like an anime RPG.
Yeah.
You know, like so like we're talking about that as well.
Yeah, right. So like that's kind of the deal.
Yeah.
I think you just kind of have to take the bad with the good. You know,
Yeah.
This game is a Souls-like just as much as Neo is a
It's
Souls-like,
Souls-like.
right? Just as much as what's the other one?
I definitely
Like
the
Lords of the
Surge,
Fallen or the Surge. I'm looking forward to the Surge too. Let me tell you.
Looking forward to the Surge 2, looking forward to Neo 2, even though I have my doubts about Neo 2, and personally, I want to see it. I want to see what it's like.
Well, see, this is why I'm excited for Neo 2. Neo 2 gave me the combat I wanted, but didn't give me the souls I wanted.
Right.
In the sense of exploration and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It was
true.
all very linear, small levels.
Yeah.
So I am very excited about the pitch that was Neo.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Like just how I'm very excited for the pitch that was Sekiro. I really hope they make another one with even deeper stealth. And you know what? I hope there's even if we're gonna talk about adding difficulties, I think they should add a stealth difficulty, which makes your character absurdly weak in combat, or makes enemies very, very, very vigilant.
Right. I don't know if that's something that modders could do. Who knows?
Well, you definitely could. It's just
Modders are you underestimate them sometimes.
it's just
Not you, people.
it's just what's it called? just numbers, right? A division code.
And modifying some.
But yeah,
variables.
think about that even. Oh, a stealth game. You mean like Metal Gear Solid 5? No, I
Right.
mean like Metal Gear Solid 1. Wait,
Right.
so you mean top-down stealth? No,
Right.
no, not like Metal Gear 1. Metal Gear Solid 1, which is top-down but also three-dimensional.
Yeah.
Or Metal Gear Solid 2. Like one you can go into first person? Well, no.
No, like Metal Gear Solid 3. Okay, yeah, I think that's a good,
Right?
that's a good comparison.
Or shooters. Do you mean Halo or do you mean Call of Duty or do you mean Battlefield?
It's
Three
true, 'cause
drastically
you can't
different.
say those are like the same.
One is
games.
one is a sci-fi, the other ones are war, but one's an arcadey war and one's a semi-sim.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe Souls like ultimately is the way to go. Maybe what you need to do is like you need to take the core of what the game is and use that as a genre tag, like because ultimately I think this game, and as I played the game more, it became more apparent to me that this is a Souls game. In terms of its combat. You know, because you're not just stagger locking guys, and you're not playing Bayonetta or DMC, right? Where you're doing combos and all that. It's timing around things. So I think that's the way to go. So let's finish up the review then.
This game gets a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
I think for me, this game was...
No, it gets a 9 out of 10. 9.
In light of all the things we talked about, the half-baked systems.
Yeah, half-baked systems, not enough enemy variety. More like the enemy variety is adequate,
It's
but
definitely adequate, definitely.
so it doesn't gain or lose points.
Yeah,
It's adequate.
Definitely.
Unlike Breath of the Wild, where it lost points.
definitely lost points. I agree with you there.
I'm all down for that. That pitch of Breath of the Wild was a good pitch.
Yeah, so yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I enjoyed Breath of the Wild, but like,
Yeah, you mean an action-adventure game like Breath of the Wild? Oh, no, I meant action-adventure game like Ocarina of Time. Oh,
No,
I
no,
actually
no.
meant action-adventure game
like Uncharted.
like Uncharted. Oh, no, I actually meant action-adventure. Oh, that damage.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I was in the air. No, I actually meant action-adventure game like Link to the Past.
Right.
Oh, I actually meant like Zelda 2. Oh, jeez!
Maybe there's a certain balance you need to strike between like being vague and being specific, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, I think that's why you can like. Does anyone recommend an action game to me like this game?
Yeah. I mean that's the way to do it. So anyway, I would say that this game is a 7 out of 10 for me, and it's not a game journalist 7.
No,
It's
that is much above average.
The game is very clearly above average. The average game, but
Best set piece fight. Best set piece fights in this game. Divine Dragon's better than Yorm.
well,
in my
I'm
opinion.
gonna give I think I still prefer Yorm ultimately, but
Better than Ancient Wyvern, that's for sure.
yeah. And of course I gotta give it to Folding Stream Monkeys.
That's a good fight.
That's great. I love that. Very creative. And
It's a good fight.
yeah,
It's a good boss encounter.
yeah. Encounter is a good word for it.
So where this one falls for me, I think I said it earlier in the
Go ahead.
series, but I assume mine's gonna be a lot shorter than yours. Bloodborne and Sekiro are tied for first.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what mood I'm in. Then below that is Dark Souls 2. Then below that is Dark Souls 1. Then below that is Dark Souls 3. Then Demon Souls. Dark Souls 3 is that low because by the time I got to it, I was kind of over it.
Now of course I enjoy all these games, so I want to make that clear. Almost all of them to an extent, but so I would say Dark Souls 2 and 3 are more or less tied at this point. They're like two of my favorite games of all time. I love everything about them. And Dark Souls 3 was firmly in second place for me until I played a modded version of Dark Souls 3 called the Cinders mod, and now it's the version I exclusively play because it makes the game even better than it already was. So, with the Cinders mod applied, Dark Souls 2 and 3 are like tied. And after that, Dark Souls 1,
Popping.
I find going back to that game a lot more. Still as well. And then Bloodborne, below Dark Souls 1. And then, I think Sekiro after Bloodborne 1. Bloodborne. Things about it. I can see a lot of good things about it, and I can't, even though I didn't like it more than any of the other Souls games, I still liked it enough. And I certainly liked it enough to put it above Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls is by far the worst of the series.
Where does it fall if you also include Lords of the Fallen, The Surge, and Neo? Because I'm at then Bloodborne and Sekiro are tied. One notch below that is Neo.
Oh.
Then one notch below that's Dark Souls 2. Okay. Then one notch is Dark Souls 1. Then one notch is Dark Souls 3. Then like 30 notches is Demon Souls.
Yeah.
And then
Souls,
like
the
Lords of the Fallen is worse than Demon Souls in my opinion. I really don't like Lords of the Fallen. And then the Surge would be before Demon Souls. Liked it a lot, but it ain't even close to any of the DS1 games.
Yeah.
Or DS games. Not even close.
I think that the Dark Souls 2 and 3, and then Dark Souls 1, and then Bloodborne, then it's so funny because like despite myself, like when I started playing this game, I was like, I'm definitely gonna like this game more than Neo, Lords of the Fallen, and the Surge. Playing through it, I'm at the end of it now, and I'm like, despite myself, I just had more fun with this game than Neo, Lords of the Fallen, and the Surge. So I had to put Sekiro next after Bloodborne, and then probably Neo and Lords of the Fallen probably tied, and then like Surge, and then Demon Souls.
The Surge is below Lords of the Fallen?
Yeah.
Lords of the Fallen is hot garbage.
Yeah, but Surge only had like 5 bosses, and the areas were kind of confusing and like, all samey looking.
It still plays a lot better than Lords of the Fallen. Jeez, Lords of the Fallen is hot trash.
I don't know. I enjoyed it more.
Lords of the Fallen is what it feels like when you've been watching like Olympic sports, and then you go to your cousin's hockey game, and they're like kind of slipping, and you're like, oh. Right, this is what it looks like when normal people play this.
Right.
That's what Lords of the Fallen is like to me. Lords of the Fallen is like... It's like The Room of the Souls games.
Okay.
It's and not good bad, just like hard bad.
I also, if we're going to be including all the Souls likes and stuff, I also going to put in Salt Sanctuary above Neo and Neo.
Oh, Salt and Sanctuary is probably I with Demon Souls.
Like that far down?
Yeah. 2D fighting. It's good, but doesn't hold my attention.
See, like I'm a huge fan of like Igavania games, so it reminded me a lot of Igavania.
I think Igavania games play better in Salt and Sanctuary. They're lighter, for the lack of a better way to describe it.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean.
You're faster.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
you are floatier.
Quickness in not bad floaty.
Yeah.
Like quickness in platformers is very important for me. 2D platformers. That's why Sunshine, this is a 3D platformer. That's why Sunshine is ultimately the worst out of Odyssey, even though I haven't played it. Odyssey, Galaxies, and 64 is the worst 3D Mario because it can't long jump. And that's speed. All right, cool, guys.
Well,
let's spin the wheel.
That's it. Yeah. Hey, guys, let's spin that wheel.
Okay, so I don't have my dry erase. Please forgive me. Boosh.
Hello.
Okay, so I don't know what this blue one is going to be Portal 1 and 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh. And Yoshi's Island is going to be
Yoshi's Island
FF12.
is FF12, and Castlevania 2 is no longer Castlevania 2.
Okay.
What should it be? I have 3 in my head.
Okay.
Castlevania 2, instead of that, on the red space, is going to be Wind Waker HD.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
I
actually hope we land on that one.
I needed to know why people like that trash.
Because it's Zelda. Well, we'll see.
It's
We'll see.
okay.
Come on, Zelda!
Oh, hold on. This sucks. Hold on. I gotta do this, right? What do I gotta do with this?
You gotta make sure you turn it the right way.
Is that?
Like it doesn't fall, like go loose.
Is not. I don't feel like this is working.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, this.
Yeah, you gotta
this.
turn that bolt there. So let's tighten it, and then you do that spin in a certain way or direction.
And then this has got to come
so
down.
it doesn't come undone.
Like that. Let me give it a good
Yeah,
spin.
one good spin. That's enough. Yeah, that's a good spin.
Oh.
Come on, red, stop!
Oh. Nice.
Yay!
Knights of the Old Republic it is.
All right. Knights of the Old Republic. I never played it, so
We'll
let's check that out.
Old Republic, eh?
Yay!
We'll take turns playing that. Cool. I don't think you're gonna like it.
Let's give it a shot.
But I like the story.
Okay.
I don't like the gameplay.
Eridan's pretty hype about that.
I don't like the gameplay at all in the game.
Adventure!
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Thanks for watching. Take care.